No Christmas #1 for Ipswich Town this year. They've been knocked off top spot by Plymouth Argyle. That's because Town lost 1-0 here at Wycombe this afternoon. Brandon Hanlon with the only goal of a pretty cold afternoon, Stu. And yeah, a shame. A good place Ipswich are in right now, but top of Christmas would have been nice.
Yeah, and it's a shame because they did a lot of good things in the game today. I agree with Kieran McKenna. Pretty scrappy, fragmented start to this game. Wycombe always make it that type of football match, but the Blues were growing and growing into that game. They were starting to play through the lines. They started to create some chances, and then one really poor piece of defending sees Wycombe score completely against the run of play 5 minutes before the break.
Yeah, that was frustrating because it looked like if Wycombe were going to do anything to Ipswich today, it was going to be down Ipswich's right, their left. The goal came on the other side, and I think that was sort of so disappointing because Ipswich looked so solid over there for much of the game. Hanlon's kind of landed on the ball outside the box. He's held Humphreys off pretty easily, and then just a bit of body shimmering has sent the Ipswich defence the wrong way. Cameron Burgess there, sort of outfoxed really, and last-ditch stuff from Keogh and Walton, not enough to keep that out of the net, and that's ultimately proved to be the difference. But beyond that, you're struggling to think of moments where Wycombe really threatened Ipswich. The build-up was talking about Wycombe being the Wycombe that we know, the physical, the direct, the pinning people and exploiting one-on-one matchups. They didn't do any of it.
No, not in an attacking sense. They were scrappy, they were awkward, they were difficult to break down. They were all those things. But from an offensive point of view, there was no moments of bombardment into the box.
Right.
Ipswich stopped a lot of the crosses, stopped it at source, did a lot of those things well. But once they had that 1-0 lead to protect going into the second half, it made it doubly hard for Ipswich to find a way back into the game. Lots of possession, but as we've seen mainly at Portman Road this season, difficult to then find a way past a very stubborn defence, and worked lots of good positions but didn't really have too many clear-cut chances, and it felt a little bit huffing and puffing, didn't it?
Like some probing at the box. Every time Kyle Edwards got on the ball, he looked to try and make something happen. Quick feet, twisting, turning, no end product. I thought Freddie Ladapo had a decent game actually, back to goal. A lot of his game was back to goal, holding it up, looking to bring others into play, but he had a couple of sniffs, couldn't make anything of it. If you're talking about the best chances of the game, I think you'd probably say the first half one that Connor Chaplin had from a decent move down the left side, didn't catch that as we know he can. And then George Edmondson on a half time with a towering header kind of early in the second half, just couldn't hit the target, and that was as good as it got really, until a bit of a late flurry in 88 minutes onwards made you hope, but didn't really feel like they were going to get one.
If you wanted anyone on the end of that chance in the first half, it would have been Connor Chaplin, a man in form, in one of his purple patches in front of goal, and it was a classic Ipswich Town move where they worked the ball from right to left, nice little square pass. Chaplin, acres of space, right in the centre of the goal, just inside the box, and he just didn't get hold of the shot. No. Really straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. The Edmondson header that you mentioned came from a really good teasing Davis cross from the left, but Ipswich worked lots of good positions in the final third. They got some decent balls into the box, but people weren't on the end of them. You mentioned Kyle Edwards. He was one of a triple sub that came on with about half an hour to go, along with Shawnee Aluko and Lee Evans, who it was great to see him back out there following sort of a lengthy injury layoff, but just didn't quite happen. They couldn't unpick the lock today against a Wycombe side that were defending for their lives. They enjoyed that at the final whistle today. The goalkeeper Striek gave it big one to the sort of 2,600 or so Ipswich fans. Alfie Mawson, centre half as well, was joining in with the winding up. So they really enjoyed sort of digging in and seeing out that 1-0 win, didn't they? But
yeah, they did. And they'll be very happy with that. Ipswich won't be, because they were the better team. They are a better team than Wycombe in this, and that'll be the frustration, because they've had days like this before, and they'll probably have some more days like this, because they're a very, very good football team. They're in a very, very good position, but that doesn't always guarantee you anything, does it? And maybe today is a good example of that.
Yeah, look, it's a frustrating day, but again, as we keep saying, after these little setbacks, it was never going to be easy, and they've made some really big strides. McKenna was quick to point out that Wycombe finished way ahead of Ipswich in the end last season, got to the playoff final. Of course, Ipswich finished 11th in the space of a year. Now look at the table and where Ipswich are and where Wycombe are at. Okay, they've lost today, and it's a frustrating day, but we need to bear in mind this is only Ipswich's 4th league defeat of the season. This is their first league defeat in 8. Today, most people would have taken second going into Christmas at the start of the season. We mentioned Lee Evans coming on today. Marcus Evans was part of the warm-up today.
Not Marcus Evans. That
would be crazy. Marcus Harness was part of the warm-up today. So they've got a few of these bodies coming back from injuries. So look, the hope has to be that this is just a disappointing result today, and you know, there's a few players coming back, and the consistency of the performances and the results by and large has been pretty good, hasn't it?
You just wait until Oxford have Marcus Evans in midfield to deal with. To talk about a couple of other injuries from me, Richard Keogh came off in this game at half-time with an injury. He was replacing Luke Wolfenden in the team, who has an injury, and also Janoy Donassian missed out, and Kane Woodson-Young started this game because Janoy Donassian has an injury. We just need to let somebody pass. You go.
Go on, mate, you squeeze past, don't worry.
And we'll carry on chatting about injuries.
Yeah, Wolfenden, I think there was a bit of sort of Chinese whispers this week on the internet about, you know, 1 minute he was out for a week, then it was a month, then it was out for the season. It sounds like it's something fairly minor. Not sure if you said abductor or adductor. Always a difficult one, but maybe back in time for Boxing Day, and if not Oxford, then the one after that, Portsmouth, hopefully. Nothing major there. Keogh came in. I thought Keogh did all right first half. He was the one that quite often started some of those attacks where Ipswich played through the thirds, but he's had a little kick around the calf knee area, had to come off at half time, and that meant a half-fit George Edmondson had to come on. Sounds like he's managing a bit of a knee issue at the moment, hasn't done a lot of training this week. Ordinarily, they wouldn't really have wanted him in the squad today, but needs must, and in the end, he's had to play 45 minutes. So a few little injuries at the back for Ipswich. At one stage of the season, it was all the number 10s and the attacking players, and midfielders injured. Now we seem to have them all in defence. Janoy Donassian obviously missing out today with that ankle injury that he picked up against Peterborough again. Hopefully nothing major there, but not had a huge amount of luck this season with injuries, but a bit more good news than bad, hopefully, with players coming back. Yeah, Ipswich Town lose 1-0 at Wycombe today. Hope you all have a fantastic Christmas, and yeah, we'll see you for the Boxing Day home game against Oxford.